80% votes for BBM and Sara, while Isabela has around 800,000 voting population. Charles?
Right, you mentioned you are on the way to Gigarao, I believe. What's next on the unit team's agenda?
Yes, Mayor Inday Sara Duterte will be meeting with Cagayan Governor Manuel Mamba, and as you know, earlier today or yesterday, Governor Mamba has announced that he will be endorsing the BBM and Sara unit team in Cagayan. So that's the next stop for Mayor Inday Sara Duterte, and I think about tomorrow in Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur on Thursday. So that's their schedule for now. And I think they will be in Tawaitan, June, tomorrow afternoon around 5:30.
Thanks for that, man. That was Marian Enriquez reporting from Isabela. Akbayan, one of the petitioners in the dismissed disqualification cases against presidential aspirant Banbong Marcus Jr., has filed their motion for reconsideration before the COMELEC. Akbayan Party List Chairman Eta Rosales personally went to the COMELEC to file the motion. The party list questions the COMELEC First Division's decision, saying that the fact that only 2 commissioners decided the case invalidates their ruling. Presidential candidate and Vice President Leni Robredo begins her Visayas campaign today, and her first stop is the province of Capiz. Joining us on the line from Rojas City is Gerard de la Peña to give us the latest on this. Gerard, what's the situation?
Villarreal before facing her supporters at the Civic Center here. Charles.
Right, Gerard, do we have an estimate as to the number of supporters who actually came to attend?
Well, we don't have the exact number, but definitely there are a lot of supporters who came in, and that was quite a long stretch from Rojas Airport down to Calawaan, and then after that the supporters proceeded to the Civic Center here in Rojas City, and the venue is actually packed. So I don't know how much supporters there were, but definitely there are a lot who came today, Charles.
Right, Gerard, who among the Vice President's lineup is present at the event?
Former Senator Antonio Trillanes. Charles.
Gerard, what were some of the things that the Vice President had to say during her speech?
Well, she said that Rojas City is not at all strange or new to her because she did her campaign kick-off back in 2016 when she ran for vice president. And she also said she has done several projects here for the Angat Buhay initiative, which required her to visit several times in the past 6 years. And she also delivered her message of honest government that would lead to improvement of lives. She also played on the controversial 18 hours of work, saying that 18 hours a day is not enough for government workers and leaders, given the magnitude of work to uplift the lives of the Filipino people. And Charles, actually, aside from the support that she has garnered from Rojas City Mayor Ronnie Dadivas, a group of indigenous peoples from Panay Island also signed a manifesto of support for her presidential bid. Charles.
Thanks for that, Gerard, and stay safe. That was Gerard de la Peña reporting from Rojas City in Capiz. We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lehan. Aksyon Demokratiko standard bearers Isko Moreno and Willie Ong continue their campaign in the Samar provinces. To give us the latest, we now have Romel Lopez joining us live from Northern Samar. Good morning, Romel. What do you have for us?
Yes, Charles, good morning. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno and his team began the second day of their campaign here in Samar in the municipality of Allen here in northern Samar. Moreno offered flowers to the statue of Laurentino Das, a Filipino adventurer who hailed from the area. After this, Moreno and his campaign team embarked into a motorcade traveling going to Visayas. The presidential candidate will also visit Catarman later today. Mayor Isko shared that he chose to start the Visayas leg of his campaign here in Samar because this is the hometown of his mother. Just during yesterday's interview, Isko Moreno brushed aside his placing third in the latest Pulse Asia pre-election survey. He also vowed never to concede or give up, since he claims that he is fighting for the Filipino people. Charles?
Romel, that was Romel Lopez reporting live from Samar. Pulse Asia President Ronnie Holmes says their recent presidential survey has yet to include voters' feedback on the absence of former Senator Banbong Marcos in presidential interviews or forums. On One News is the Chiefs. Holmes says there's still no feedback on how Marcos's absence affected his ratings. This as the survey was done before any of the presidential interviews or forums.
Ginawa yung Jessica yung naganap yung interview sa 20 seconds, ibig sabihin, nahagip lang niya yung huling 2 araw ng aming fieldwork. So yung huling 2 araw na yon, kung ating tatansyahin, ay hindi maliit na lang na proporsyon ng fieldwork, ng interview ang dapat matapos. At maaari yung mga na-interview nung huling 2 araw, hindi pa nila masyadong ganap na nakuha kung ano nangyari doon sa SOHO interview. At yung kung ano man yung feedback sa hindi pagsipot o pagtanggi na ma-interview ang dating senador, no, na si Banbong Marcos.
Holmes also said that Marcos's 60% voter preference is the highest recorded in all their presidential surveys in history. But Holmes believes it's not yet game over for the other candidates, and he says many voters are still not fully decided on who to vote for, adding that the voting decision tends to shift as election day closes in.
Noong 2010 na nag-exit poll kami, nung tinanong namin sila kung kailan sila nagdesisyon kung sinong boboto nilang pagpangulo, kailan sila nagpirme ng kanilang desisyon kung sinong boboto ng Pangulo, lumalabas na ito yung naggawa lamang parang less than a month before the election. So, ibig sabihin, maaari pang magbago ang kanilang voting decision ngayon. Sa mga katanungan na magbabago ba ang kanilang boto, halos kalahati ng mga botante nagsasabing maaari itong magbago o hindi na masabi kung magbabago o hindi magbabago.
The Lacson-Sotto tandem visits the city of Paranaque today. To give us more details, we have Mean Los Baños reporting live from Paranaque City. Good morning, Mean. What is the latest on the Lacson-Sotto's campaign in the city?
Hi, Charles. Good morning. Vice Presidential candidate Tito Soto paid the visit and had a courtesy call here in Paranaque City, where he was welcomed by Paranaque City LGU officials, basically by Mayor Edwin Olivares. And just to tell you, Charles, we asked Senate President Soto about their reaction on the latest Pulse Asia survey, where Senator Ping Lacson is trailing behind Banbong Marcos says 60%, Lacson only getting 4%. And Senate President Soto with 29%, far second from Mayor Sara Duterte's 50%. But they're not disheartened with the survey results, according to Senate President Soto. In fact, they're not changing any of their political strategies that they're implementing right now. They're still going to go around the different sectors of the country, especially to the grassroots, to personally hear the problems of our countrymen and to offer solutions. He also vowed to attend all debates and fora except for the one being organized by the media outfit of Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, because Senate President Sotto believes they will not gain any benefits from it, especially because Quiboloy already endorsed another set of candidates recently. Charles.
Right, Mayan, could you tell us who else is in attendance over there in Paranaque?
A majority of the LGU officials were here. As I said, Senate President Sotto was welcomed by no less than Parañaque City Mayor Edwin Olivares and Vice Mayor Rico Goles. He was given a tour of the Parañaque City Hall, and he was oriented by the daily processes and functions of the LGU. And by the way, Charles, just to recall that Olivares is a member of the PDP Laban Kusi faction, and just recently, the PDP Laban Kusi faction already adopted Mayor Sara Duterte as its vice presidential candidate, but that did not stop vice presidential candidate Tito Sotto from what he said panliligaw, from courting Parañaque residents. And Olivares said that he could not control the residents here in Parañaque, and they're open to vote whoever they want to vote come May elections. So he still welcomes vice presidential candidate Tito Sotto here when he made the courtesy call this morning, Charles.
Right. Man, let's talk about Ping Lacson for a minute. A few days ago, he did drop some senatorial candidates from his slate due to various reasons. Is he considering maybe adding more senators to the slate?
To the contrary, on the contrary, Charles, Senator Ping Lacson, or presidential candidate Ping Lacson, and Senate President Sotto are actually continually trimming down their senatorial slate. We know for a fact that they started originally with 15 names on their slate, down to 13 last week, and now they're down to 11. Their current slate does not include anymore Senator Gordon, as Senate President Sotto said Gordon is already obviously supporting another candidate, and the slate also is not including former Vice President Jojo Binay. This because Senate President Sotto said that they have no communication with Binay since his absence in the kick-off rally last week, Charles. So they're now down to 11 senatorial candidates, or they're endorsing just 11 senatorial candidates as of the moment, Charles.
Thanks for that, Mayan. That was Mayan Los Baños, reporting live from Paranaque. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.